Your boy doesn't always get thrown out of little league games, but when I do, I make it count. No, I never. I can't believe this is a thing. I never. I don't say much as a coach. I coach the rec league, not the travel ball. That's beyond my pay grade. I coach my son's rec league team, and it's the playoffs. And I don't say much because I know I'm fucking Shrek out there, so they're very intimidated. Most of them are cool.
By the way, first mistake there, right? Can't even say the word properly. I might look very intimidating, not intimidated. So grammar all over the place. One thing that needs to be pointed out about this, right? Because I was thinking about it yesterday. One thing that needs to be pointed out about this, because I feel like I'm the voice of reason when it comes to the Bappaverse, right? I don't hate the guy. I want him to see him out on the street desolate and shit, like some of the people on the homeless cat subreddit, right? Or I don't have a vendetta against him like Unique, because obviously Bappa tried to come after him and take down his channel, so I understand why he hates him. So I'm like, I used to be a fan, now I'm not so much, and I like to laugh at him, and obviously it's fun for the stream, so I'm not really that invested in the hate train. But if you're just looking at this from a fair point of view, take away Bappa and how annoying he is and how bad he comes across in this video, it's actually not a bad thing how he reacted. Because a lot of you guys in the stream chat, a lot of people I've been reading up about online, a lot of videos I've been seeing, this personality, this sports dad, this over enthusiastic, overly involved, hover, helicopter, toxic type of stuff that goes on in sports, it's common. It's across the board in all sports. It probably exists in acting as well, right? I think they're called stage mums and shit. Those things exist. So it's pretty common across the board for parents to be overly invested in their kids' sports or whatever extracurricular activity. Sometimes because they've kind of not, they've maybe failed to live up to their own expectations and trying to live their dream for their kids. Or other times it's just another way of them showing interest and over, whatever, but just going a bit overboard. So it's actually not a bad thing that he's that way, because a lot of people are that way across the, no, sorry, it's not uncommon. Maybe it's a bad thing, but it's not uncommon, because there's many parents who are going overboard and being a little bit too much on the sidelines. The issue comes because of Brendan and his refusal to just shut the fuck up, or his insistence on always trying to paint himself out to be the best guy in the world, which I don't understand, because it's like, none of us, I would hope anyway, think we're perfect. None of us think we are without flaws, but none of us are trying to, I would also hope, trying to fly the, wave the flag in here that we're like, that our shit don't stink. Like, we know it does. That's why we're human. Like, our shit does stink sometimes, but we try to do the best we can in the time we have available. Papa has this way of speaking where he's always acting, he's always saying the things out loud that he does himself in secret. So for the longest time, he was out there saying, yeah, the people that go to games, and I'm not like those parents, those dads who are overly pushy and doing this. I'm just telling my son if he really wants to do this, it's up to him. Do you remember in the beginning? He was saying, no, it's up to him. If you decide to want to do this, I'm gonna join you. I'm gonna push you, but it's got to be you. You've got to be the one to start this. Then I can show you what. And then you find out he's exactly the kind of stereotype of a toxic sports-related parent that we all kind of know about, we've seen online. So the thing that he was rallying against, the thing that he was fucking barking against and saying again, he is exactly the same way. That's why people are clowning him for this, because on paper, it's not that bad of a thing. It's not that big of a deal. Did that MMA platform go a bit overboard by posting it on their thing? Probably, but he's a prominent, he's a prominent person kind of in the MMA space. It makes sense why they did that. Shits and giggles, clicks, whatever, it went viral. But does he need to comment on it? Does he need to try to excuse himself for that behavior? Because we know exactly what it was. Even without the audio, even without clear audio, we can all ascertain as to what happened in that clip and who was at fault there. Majorly, for the most part, Brendan. Especially, and the wife as well, getting on board and fucking writing things on Instagram stories. That's the problem with this whole thing. It's not actually what he did, it's the fact that he kind of prefaced everything beforehand as to being this perfect representation of what a real dad would be like if his son was into sports. And I'm not going to be overbearing, I'm not going to be pushy, I'm not going to be toxic, I'm not going to be and you do exactly the same thing. You're full of shit, but you don't even know you're full of shit.
We've had this before, and he was an issue. He warned he might have thrown out.
No, Brendan Mallory, you got that mistaken. He's pretending to be offended. He's actually loving attention. Nope, you got that gravely mistaken. Brendan hates the attention like this because he knows most people are clowning him. Because it kind of shatters his self-image. He doesn't like this attention. He wants everyone to think of him as like the perfect kind of like sports dad, the perfect dad. You know, he's got this whole brand of dad thing going on now. Before it was the comedian shit, the podcast, now it's the whole dad thing. This shatters his idea that he's this perfect beast of a dad guy. So he's not loving the attention. That's why he's on this pod. And I think if I scan across, actually, this whole section where he's addressing it, brother, this whole section, imagine, my friend, big up Brendan Mallory in the stream chat. Remember, my guy, this is an MMA show. The Schaub'S show, he tries to make it seem like it's a podcast. No, it's not a podcast about your life. This is mostly for MMA. This is kind of him taking below the belt and making it his own thing. This is a show that's 57 minutes long, and he wastes a quarter of it talking about a post that only certain people saw. You have to be really in the weeds to even see that post. It's not even that big of a deal on a platform that I don't even know if that many followers it got. It doesn't really matter. He spent a quarter of that show addressing a clip of him being kind of toxic, being kind of over the top at his kid's baseball game that he didn't need to address. He's doing it because he wants to rewrite the narrative. He doesn't want people to look at him as like a bad dad or something. So he cares. Like, he cares. He doesn't love the attention. This is a bad thing. That's why he's spending a quarter of his show on the MMA show talking about this shit.
The other manager on the other team in one of our earlier games on the playoffs, he's just a weird dude. And then this game had high level emotions. We start off the game with 6 runs. Some kid hit legit home run, first one ever. And so there's a lot.
I don't think so, man. I don't think he enjoyed. Nope, Ace of Andy. He didn't get airtime on my YouTube, so he knows he's happy. I don't think so, bro. You guys are mistaken. Like, I don't know if you got, like, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but I feel like Brendan doesn't like being laughed at. Fundamentally, he does not like being laughed at. That's why he quit stand-up comedy. He does not like being laughed at. He does not enjoy when people mock him. And everything mostly that gets posted about him online is a mock. Everybody is mocking him. The comments are not on your face. Like, it's not. And even if, and the funny thing about this, right? Read the comments on that MMA news thing. We read it before. Read the comments. The comments are quite favorable to Brendan. Every person on there is, I don't know if they're bots or anything, but the comments are quite favorable. They're saying, yeah, you know, there's nothing bad about this. He's just a dad. He's just a dad doing dad things. Maybe he might be toxic too, but the comments are quite favorable, and he still dedicated 15 minutes plus of his 57-minute show to this, and the comments are on his side on that MMA post. Come on, bro. He cares. He doesn't like being laughed at.
A lot going on, but he was definitely sided with the other team. The other team was really chummy with him, like buddy. I'm like, this is weird.
Hey, is Micah Mills a Spurs fan? Micah Mills, are you a Spurs fan? Are you a Spurs fan in my chat? I don't think I've ever seen you ever on my live streams. I don't think I've ever seen you on my live streams. Are you a Spurs fan? And now you're coming to give it a big one. I've never seen you in my live streams ever before. And now you're talking. Now you're talking. I don't want to get derailed. I don't want to get derailed.
We weren't getting the same calls. Again, I don't say anything. I'm not trying to be any sort of factor in the game, you know, or cause any issues. I'm just really there for my son and the team. That's it.
Told you. See? He knows he's causing an issue. He's saying all this stuff because he does this stuff. I don't want to be an issue. I don't want to cause any things. Well, you are causing things. That's why you're all over the fucking blogs. You are a distraction. You are causing issues. You are being overly involved. You are ultimately setting a bad example for your kid. That's why he's saying what he's saying here.
It's very rare. I get along with everybody, the other coaches. I know everybody. Everything's all good. And then my son, he slid into home. clearly safe. The thing that
Again, missing the point. Nobody gives a fuck if your kid was safe or not. It's your reaction. His reaction was overboard. He could have said something on the sidelines like, come on, he was safe, screaming or whatever, and that would have been cool. Walking down the umpire like you're gonna doom something. Walking down the umpire, that didn't look like that was his first time, brother. Brothers and sisters, they and dems and everything in between. That did not look like it was his first time walking down an umpire during one of his son's baseball games. No one held him back either. Notice that. So if that was his first time, people would have held him back. That wasn't his first time doing that.
This full send MMA edited, you don't see the full play, but he's.
By the way, how much does that hurt? Full send. Am I mistaken for thinking Full Send MMA is attributed or affiliated with the Full Send crew and all those guys? Lucius affiliated with Barstool Sports and all those dudes. Is that them? Happy Dad crew, all that crew. You'd think that's the fascinating thing about Brendan. You'd think Brendan would be in with that kind of crew, innit? You'd think Brendan would be down with like what's his face, Dave Portnoy and all those man them. But they don't like him. Some of you people in the string chat think Dave Portnoy is a proper wally and a weapon. Even Dave Portnoy and all them guys don't like this guy. Kind of crazy, if you think about it. He should be like their mascot. He should be part of that bro crew, right? They don't even like him. That's probably why this stings a bit more. Because it's coming from like that side. He thinks like he's out with one of them and they're like mocking this guy.
He not only is he safe, he slides over the base, and the catcher doesn't even tag him. So it's not even a questionable call. It's clearly, yeah,
that's the one. Big up Ryan Harty. Sorry, Nelk boys. Yeah, Full Send on Nelk, innit? That's all Nelk affiliate, but they kind of like affiliated, kind of family connected loosely with Barstool. I kind of put them in the same category, right? That kind of bro content. I just would say you'd think Brendan, with how he portrays himself, which is kind of interesting. It's like even the bros, even the Chads see through him. Even the Chads who people think are brainless, even the Chads see through him. Even the Chads know he's full of shit.
Night and day. Even the other team was like, dude, that's bad. I'm like, yeah. So I go, come on, dude. You got to be fair. It's been all game. I go, that's a garbage call. He goes, what?
Big up Grown Baby Golf. I love this. Big up Grown Baby Golf. I played 4 years of college baseball. If we care about a guy, he's not going to argue alone, AZ. We're going to support him. Exactly. Everyone know, like, that was a close call. I'm not sure about you. I don't know nothing about baseball, but thinking back to the clip, that was quite a close call. But also the umpire was right on top of it. It was quite a close call though. I didn't see anybody go crazy except for Brendan. Yes, I know because of his son it makes sense, but no one else went that crazy. But even if it wasn't a close call, still, with how sports is being a team sport, you back your person. On the pitch usually, doesn't matter right or wrong or right. If you're down for a scrap with somebody in the opposing team, I'm your teammate too. We're scrapping together. Nobody jumped in with him. Nobody followed him to walk down that umpire. Why? Ask us that question.
You made it personal. You're out. I'm like, whoa. I went, are you serious? You can see me talking. I go, you serious, dude, for that?
No, we can't see you talking. We didn't see that. We can't see you talking. You can't distort reality. You can't retcon things that we see with our own eyes. The guy called it out. You didn't like the decision. You tried to walk him down. He told you, get the fuck out of here. Simple as that.
Oh, come on, dude. That's soft shit. And then that's when he freaked out. So I don't know what's going on there.
Imagine seeing that video, right, of yourself doing that to the umpire, knowing that you are a prominent figure, let's say, knowing how it makes your child and the whole team look, and the first thing you say is not an apology. That's how you know this guy's a piece of shit. Because it's his son that's involved, it's his son's teammates that are involved, it's other teachers and team, like, think of all the people that are involved that look bad because of that clip. Even if he's in the right, he should be saying, first of all, I apologize for my behavior. I apologize for that. And then, continuing there. He doesn't do that. Why?
Definitely affected the game, and that was a big play. Like that was like, and it's the playoffs. It's double elimination, and I was more.
Come on, Brendan. It's the playoffs. Really? It's Little League, bro. It's Little League, brother. It's the playoffs. They're children. Everyone there's what? Under 10, 11, 12. It's the playoffs. How are you going to react if he actually does get into the minors, become an MLB player? What are you going to do then? Little League, and you're freaking out like this. Little League, and you want to walk down a fucking umpire and do what? Kick his head in. Because of a close call. It would be one thing if the umpire, I don't know, God forbid, hit Tiger. If the umpire threw a ball in an aggressive manner in the direction of that kid. If the umpire took off his helmet and threw it to him, like, okay, whatever. Something physical. Or if the umpire said something slick to your kid. Even that I wouldn't excuse. That would make some sense. But walking down an umpire for a close call, a marginal call. Come on, bruh. Come on. It's the playoffs.
Embarrassed than anything. I'm like, oh no. Like, come on, dude. Like, what are you doing? So then I walked away, and then the parents were arguing, dude, they make mistakes. It's all good. It's rec. It's all good. I get it.
Look at him acting as if he's doing the umpire a favor. Like, I'm the forgiving one. It's actually a miracle he has friends, you know.
Powerful bunch.
Big up on disease.
Apologize? It's the team's fault. Fuck them kids.
Exactly. It's the playoffs. It's actually my kids' fault and the other players' fault, the other children's, and the other flipping parents. It's their fault for encouraging their kids to play so well that they got into the playoffs that drive me to do that. I didn't want to do that. It's actually a miracle this guy has any friends. And I thought to myself, hold on. He actually doesn't have any friends, does he? Everyone he hangs out with, he pays. With the exception of his own family. That says everything, isn't it?
Playoffs, so there's a little more emotion. That means a little more. It's double elimination, so thank.
And some could say, even his family, they kind of only with him for the money.
God, this didn't ruin it for everybody. But so the parents are like, dude, it's safe. Like, you've been doing this all game. The vibe with the other coaches is my issue. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, are they getting bears after?
So now it's a conspiracy. Now it's a conspiracy. There was a conspiracy against his son's team. The umpire was way more pally and friendly with the other parents of the other team, of the kids from the other team. I don't even buy this to be true. But let's imagine it is true. What's the easiest explanation for this? That the umpire is bought and sold? Or that he just gets along better with the other parents because they're not as freaky, they're not as over enthusiastic, they're not as aggressive, they're not as annoying as Brendan and his parents are, or Brendan is by himself. Maybe that could be the reason. Is it a big conspiracy to keep Tiger Schaub down? To embarrass Brendan Schaub? Or could it be easily explained with the fact that maybe the umpire gets on better with the other team? Because they're not annoying. Or maybe he's taking one snapshot of people laughing on the sidelines with the fucking umpire as if that's evidence that they're bought and sold. Look at this guy complaining about people being bought and sold when his entire career, especially in comedy, was bought and sold. If not for Rogan, then what? You have your whole career propped up by fucking Joe Rogan, and here you are complaining about corruption. Complaining about that. Complaining about favoritism. Imagine. Brendan complaining about favoritism.
Powerful bunch to this.
Yo, big up Young Vibes.
The umpire was a DEI hire. Dang woke culture.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Freaking jacking each other up. What's going on here? The vibe was way too friendly. The other coach came to him and was like, that was a right call. And I shook his hand. I'm like, well, in the middle of the game. Like, this is.
Oh my God. I don't even care, bro. this should be something that I should say. This should be something you should say. As a non-professional athlete, some of you, maybe some of you are professionals, I apologize. But if you're just a regular guy, girl, whatever, this is what we should be saying. We should be this overly emotional and whatsoever. Somebody that's actually played a sport to a high level, been around it, seen other professionals make it, they should have a little bit more of a level, chill when it comes to watching their kids play. They should be able to break down things a lot more reasonably and not be so emotional and not be pointing fingers and not be working up all these conspiracies. It should just be a simple case of like, yep, that video's on. All this video should have been, yeah, that video is super embarrassing, obviously. I mean, it doesn't obviously paint the whole picture, but you know, whatever, who cares? First of all, I just want to apologize to everybody in the team. I did apologize after the game. That was really embarrassing. I was kind of embarrassed myself. Don't understand what came over me. But you know what it's like with sports. You get, you get fucking hot-headed. My kids playing. That obviously is not something that I would want to encourage my kids to do, or to, or set an example for the other kids. Blah blah blah. I should have known better, and then just move on. Because trying to overly explain this small clip of your kid playing Little League that nobody really gives a fuck about and making it out to be some big conspiracy is just asinine. It's just ridiculous. And if you don't think this motherfucker is hating this attention, you don't know what you're talking about, because this is somebody that clearly is trying to rewrite the narrative, spin it to make it look away, but instead is actually making themselves look even more embarrassing. This is the most embarrassing thing he might have been doing. But it makes sense because he's created this image of himself as a perfect dad, and now suddenly there's something out there that doesn't show him as a perfect dad, and he's fucking scrambling. And it's like, brother, who told you were the perfect dad anyway? Who gives a fuck about that? Just do the best you can with your kids. No one actually fucking cares. The only person that you should worry is your kids and the people inside your own household. But this nigga again worried way more about people outside than people inside his own household.
Powerful bunch.
Yo, big up Jordan Ray. Appreciate you, brother. Big up Jordan Ray. Thank you for becoming a member. You're an absolute G. Big up fucking Jordan Ray. He's standing with me. Jordan Ray standing, even though this is the 4th time of day 1, Jordan Ray is standing with me. Will you stand with me? Or will you be hating?
All weird. So I'm annoyed as shit. Tiger has a bad attitude because his dad got thrown out, which drives me nuts. And then he's...
Or doesn't Tiger have a bad attitude because you have a bad attitude? Isn't that possible? Maybe your kid's copying you. That could be possible.
Starts threatening the parents. One more word and I'm calling the game.
You see, now he's trying to paint himself as the savior. He only did what he did for the benefit of the other parents. The other parents, think of it this way. Think about this. Brendan's trying to tell you that no other parent is overly invested, overly eager in their kid's sports life, especially in that team. He's the only parent that has those type of emotions. So he had to step up for them. They couldn't speak up for themselves, no? They couldn't bark back at the umpire themselves, no? They couldn't walk down the umpire. They needed big bad MMA guy to do it. They couldn't do it themselves. We've never seen like short, fat, barely can walk parents, like people on fucking Zimmer frames screaming at fucking refs and stuff during games. We haven't seen that, no? We haven't seen mums literally jumping into boxing rings, hitting fucking opponents to just knock their sons out with a fucking shoe. We've never seen that before, have we? Parents always need an MMA fighter to stand up for them at a baseball game, don't they? Yeah, they need one. They can't just do it themselves. They had to choose him. He anointed himself as, no, they didn't even choose him. He anointed himself as the leader of the group. Okay.
It's the 4th inning, but which he can't do. He's like threatening the parents. He told one parent, I'm not starting the game till you get out here. And it's a mom. She's like, what?
That's what an umpire's meant to do, bro. Don't get me wrong. I'd never
powerful bunch.
It would be like if a homeless person, or a cat, or a volunteer umpire had an opinion. You do not matter. This the playoffs bubble.
Exactly. Perfect. Think about this. Just pick up us on the season. That was fucking perfect, man. I had nothing to say. Let's just play the clip. That was fucking perfect. Pick up us on the season. Listen, that's what I was going to say. I never played baseball before, right? I've never played baseball before, but I would imagine baseball umpires, especially at little league level, whatever, are probably akin to like Sunday league level referees. They all have an outsized ego for the level at what they're at. It just is what it is. Maybe because the kids have uniforms and shit, and they feel like it's a little representation of a pro thing. I don't know, but I'd imagine umpires in baseball are probably the same level of fadiciousness, if that's a word, pickiness, analness, as like a fucking Sunday league referee. I would imagine. You just have to suck it up, brother. They are a core function. They play a core role in the running of those games. Without umpires, you don't have a game. They play a role. They're annoying, yes, but you need them. You just suck it up. You can't go around arguing and trying to beat down on and run down on every referee. And it also doesn't set a good example for the kids, especially not at that age. God damn.
So dude just on a power trip. Weird dude. All the baseball dads know.
Of course. Let's chastise the umpire. Let's use our platform. Let's use our huge platform to talk badly on an umpire. You know? He's not doxing him, don't get me wrong, right? Umpire maybe doesn't even have a social media. But let's use our platform not to hold our hands up and say we were at fault and just move on. But let's talk about this umpire as if he's just this big bad wolf who's trying to bring loads of shame on Brendan's name, who's trying to fuck up Tiger's potential, Tiger's, ability, maybe pathway to the MLB. Let's do that instead.
Oh, weird dude. You know what I'm talking about. It's one of those guys on a power trip. So it's one of those weird things. So I just watched the game.
No, we don't know what you're talking about, actually. We don't know. Please tell us. Please tell us what makes this referee so bad. If he didn't do that close call or whatever, would Brendan have that much of a problem with him? Or is it because that video got out? What's the actual issue here? Is the issue the video or is the issue the umpire's performance? And what makes Brendan the fucking arbiter of good umpires or not?
Game, we lost. We play again Wednesday. It's double elimination. It is what it is. I can't believe this is a thing. What?
Yes, you can. That's why you're answering to it. You can believe it's a thing. Because that's why you're talking about it. It's a thing because Brendan spends his time painting dads that do exactly the thing that he does as being toxic and being bad influences. The moment he does it, I can't believe this is a big deal. You make it a big deal. You're the one that's talking on and on and on about how other parents should raise their kids when they're into sports. And then you go and do the exact same things you say you don't do.
Whatever parent from whether it's the other team or our team or whoever cousin sent this to these outlets.
So allegedly, that's not even the facts. There is some cloud, there is some service that you can basically log into, and you can watch all these things. I don't know what is specifically the reason why that this exists. I'm sure maybe it's just like an archiving thing. In the UK, we're a bit strict with that sort of stuff. If I'm not mistaken. I think in the UK, most like kid stuff you can't really film. If I'm not mistaken, I think so anyway. 'Cause I remember I knew somebody that had a daughter that was into like jujitsu and shit. And I'm pretty sure they didn't know how to film. So I'm not sure if it's different in the US, but regardless, there is some sort of system in place, CCTV, whatever it is, where they monitor and record games at Little League level. So anyone could log into it. Nobody went out of their way to send it to anybody to bring him down, big conspiracy, like he's feeling like a big famous badass. Somebody on the homeless cat subreddit, someone on the TFATK subreddit, got that footage and put it on the Reddit. Now, think about this. It wouldn't be an issue if Brendan wasn't a cock. If Brendan wasn't the guy that he describes and admonishes himself, it wouldn't have been an issue anyway. Because somebody would have seen those clips and not seen Brendan at all. And just seen some fucking big doofus looking dude in the corner standing there looking all surly as he watches his kid. If he actually did what he's... Remember back in the day? Remember? When Brendan used to talk about baseball, he used to say, oh, I don't even hang out with the parents. Remember that? Remember that whole era? Like he was acting like the parents were beneath him. This is before... I think this is when he was still doing comedy. He didn't regard these parents as like worthy of his time because he's a comedian and they're just civilians, right? You know how comedians are. They look down on regular people like you and I. So he didn't even give them the respect of acting like they were on the same level like their parents. No, he was always talking about, oh, I go in the corner, I don't even stand on the side, I'm in the corner just watching my kid. Well, if you actually did that, this clip that went viral wouldn't exist, because all people would see is you in the corner doing your thing. But instead, when the person watched the clips, look what they found. They found Brendan walking down a fucking umpire like he was gonna fucking ground and pound him.
You're a piece of shit, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? This isn't a thing. Any dad, talk to any dad whose kids played rec or travel ball, got through baseball, and they manage or they coach a team. This happens all the time, man.
We know, but you made it seem like you don't do it. You see what he's doing now? We know it happens all the time. You don't have to tell us. We know it happens all the time. You're the one that tried to tell us, the audience and the fans, whatever, the viewers, that you weren't that guy. You were above that. You would never do that. Guys who do that are like bottom feeders, like, you know, whatever. But then here's a clip of you doing the exact same thing. Even worse. Some dads just shout fucking expletives at the fucking ref, at the umpire from the sidelines. Then after the game, they shake their hand. Say, sorry about that, I was just getting a bit too hot-headed because of my kid. You actually went and walked one down from a close call. Come on, bro. It wasn't like he, like, I'd kind of understand if Brendan walked down the umpire because he ejected his kid for something that he didn't do. Like one of those kind of, you know, sports injustice, whatever. He called it out. You thought it was in. You thought it was safe. And then you walked him down. Come on, man.
This shouldn't be news. This isn't anything. If your dad managed your team and did get thrown out, he don't give a fuck about you or the game.
Oh, now if you don't walk down on your if you don't walk down during your kid's baseball game on the umpire, you're not a beast of a dad. You get that? You get that, dads out there? Brendan's saying if you don't blow a gasket, if you're not trying to fight the umpire, you just don't care enough. You're not one of the 250 beasts of a dads out there. Oh, this guy is such a fucking cunt, innit? He is such a cunt. It's moments like this, right, where I start to understand why some people in the Find the Kids subreddit do want to see him completely desolate, shaking his tin can on the street somewhere begging for money. Those guys, some of those guys on there really hate him, right? I'm just in it for the shits and giggles. But when you see stuff, when you hear him speaking like this, you know why. You get it. Like, fundamentally, this guy is just broken, isn't it? Like, it's just, there's no saving this person. Like, when your brain thinks like this, you're the one in the wrong, and now you're trying to spin it as if, like, if guys don't do that, then they're the ones who are bad dads. Hold on, aren't you just taking part in your kids' lives now? This guy was non-present in his children's life for the first 5 or 6 years or something when he was doing stand-up, when that was the main thing, when he went to an SNL. Suddenly he quit stand-up because he can't cut it or because you can't sell tickets, and all of a sudden he's lecturing people on how to raise their kids. This guy.
And it wasn't like I was in the rump's face arguing. No. I realize I'm bigger than 90% of the people out there.
I'm just too big and strong. What can I do? It's the team's fault. It's my genetic. It's my mum and dad's fault actually for making me this way. My dad shouldn't have bust my mum. My dad should have pulled out. I wouldn't have been here. Yo, this guy's brain. Oh my God.
I already know these people are going to be on their heels. I'm the last person.
He walks around. This guy walks around thinking people are scared of him like prime John Jones or something. He walks around and thinks like people are scared to approach him like he's like prime Mike Tyson or something. Or like he's actually Aaron Hernandez, you know? Bruh, nobody knows who you are. It's not that deep. It really isn't. It really isn't that deep. And I love how he acts like there's no other like big dads. He's the only one. as if the size is like, what does that even mean? Like, what are you talking about? The umpire still gave you the fucking outs, you know? So clearly your side doesn't matter, right? The umpire gave it the whole theatrical fucking out to really rub it into him, because he didn't give a fuck about your size. So all this fucking size shit, he still said your kid wasn't safe. He wasn't intimidated. He didn't give a fuck. He said out. He ejected you as well. Come on, man, get out of here.
To get in his face, and he's a smaller dude, you know, and out of shape. I realize I'm built like fucking Shaq next to this guy. So I already know he's on his heels.
Okay, let's take him at his word. Let's take him on face value. Let's give him benefit of doubt in this instance. Let's say the guy is on his heels. Shouldn't you just apologize for walking him down then? Shouldn't you apologize for your reaction? Let's say the guy is on his heels because he sees big bad Brendan Schaub. I don't know what his fucking fight record is. 16-5, Brendan Schaub, right? Let's imagine that he is scared. Do you have a gun, Brendan Schaub, right? Let's imagine he's scared, right? Shouldn't you apologize for being the trained quote unquote killer that you are, for trying to walk down a guy just doing his job? He might have got it wrong, cool, but who cares? It's little league. Shouldn't you apologize just because you intimidated him with your size and knowing what you can do with your body that you know that he can't in terms of self-defense? Shouldn't you apologize for that? Still no. Just explaining why he's not in the wrong. Explaining why the other guy is in the wrong and not him.
And when I come walking up, he's like, Jesus Christ. I already know that. So I'm like, whoa.
Did he say Jesus Christ? Or did he turn his back to you when you were walking?
I don't yell. I'm like, come on, dude. You know, I'm trying to be cool, but it is what it is.
You can't be cool and walk somebody down. It doesn't work that way. There is no cool walking somebody down. Look at what fucking Jorge Masvidal did to my guy Leon Edwards when he walked him down. Walking down somebody is that's a form of aggression. There is no calm walking down. You don't walk somebody down to say nice things to them or to reason with them. You walk down on them because you want to set pace. You want to let them know, I'm ready to go. You just got to give me a sign. That's what you're doing it for. It would have been hilarious if the umpire just swung a left hand and caught Brenda on his chin. And imagine, you just, you know, one of like hit and hope, you just swing it, like just, you're out of fear, just like you panic, you just swing it, and he clipped Brenda, he just like wobbled. He did a little chicken dance. Not even drop, he did little chicken legs, stanky leg. Could you imagine how the Reddit would blow up if the umpire just swung an arm out and Brenda went wobbly? That would have been amazing.
The biggest thing is, you know, them reporting this. Like, what the fuck you doing? It's a rec league, man.
So that video
okay, it's a rec league. What are you doing that at a rec league, please? That's the question. Let's take him at his word again. It's a rec league. It's little league. It doesn't really matter. What are you doing walking down an umpire for a close call? Is it really that deep?
feed, not like you have to be
That's a closed feed.
Yeah, that's strange.
Oh, now I see the insinuation. We're bored. We're obsessed. He's trying to link the whole Unique thing, innit? Remember when Unique was coming after him, or when Unique was clipping him and pointing out all the dumb things he says, and Brendan was going after Unique, he tried to paint Unique as like this, like deranged dad who was like beating his kids. I think at that time maybe there was a clip that didn't look too great in terms of the abuse thing, you know, my guy Unique, but you know, that video was a bit mad. But he tried to like link it to like, you know, coming after my family. Remember, he was like, he tried to make it seem like the Reddit was like coming after his family or something. Just to make this some big thing where like people were trying to like, what? People are pointing out that you're a bit of a douchebag and you lie a lot. Why? Like, why is that some like, it's like a nefarious thing? They're trying. It's like, not really. It could all go away tomorrow if you just were a decent person, but you're not. And you refuse to learn from your fucking mistakes. So people, as like great lolcows do, you just keep fucking going. And here we are. But I love the insinuation. oh, they hacked into something crazy. It's like, did they really hack into it? Or is it just like a website you can go on and view everything if you want to? Probably Little League games around the world. You can probably see some kid in Korea doing some shit now if you wanted to. So first of all, I'm not a big enough deal to recover this. Secondly, he's kind of like reveling in this. Like, it's like, what do you want? Are you happy that they're doing it because it means that you're a big deal? Or are you concerned because it means that people are possessive or obsessive? Or as fucking academics like to say, to avoid accountability, parasocial. Okay, cool. Parasocial it is then, I guess. No accountability. No, you know. No need to ask for forgiveness or anything, yeah? No need to apologize. No, it's okay. It's everybody else's fault, not mine.
That's what bums me out. That's what bums me out. Tigers.
Oh, so now I'm concerned for my kid. Oh my god, this guy is brilliant, man. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. Now he's concerned for his safety of his kids because of a video that highlighted that he is exactly the person that he says he isn't, or that he admonishes in his own pod. Now he's saying that he's insinuating essentially that he's scared for his kids. What will the Redditors do? What line will they not cross? What? It's a feed that everybody has access to, from what I'm led to understand. Anybody could have access to this feed. And again, this isn't an issue if you don't walk down umpires. Simple as that. Nobody's saying you can't raise your hands up in disgust or roll your eyes back or shout something, but you went a step further and walked that guy down. That's why people are fucking saying what they're saying. It was over the top. It was unnecessary. It made you look like a fucking idiot. Just apologize and move on. But nah, let's not do that. Or not even apologize because it's your kid. Don't do any of that sort of shit. Just ignore it. Ignore it. But here we are.
He's not aware of any of this, you know. Nothing.
Is he gonna cry? Is he gonna cry? Is he gonna cry? Is this motherfucker who did something wrong, right? gonna gaslight to the point where he's gonna convince himself to cry?
Powerful bunch.
Oh, this guy's too much.
Funny how literally everyone else, including way more famous Rogan, protects their kids by, not talking about them, not disclosing what they do, where they go to school,
It's actually impressive that do they have a social media yet? Or like a big presence on there? Because that's actually a good point. Like, the way he talks about his kids in public, you'd think they'd be like all over social. They're not even like I don't even think Kim Kardashian talks about her kids, or Northwest to be specific. Let's say North. I don't even think Kim Kardashian talks about Northwest as much as Brendan talks about his kids on his pod. I don't even think Rihanna or A$AP Rocky talks about their kids as much as Brendan talks about his kids in public. And it's always fascinating me, that part of it, because again, it goes back to the Rogan thing. Rogan example I say is because they like to pick and choose what they want to copy from Rogan. So Rogan's like, aggressively private when it comes to his personal life. Whenever someone tries to ask him a question about his kids, he gives the least amount of information, and if it gets a little bit too deep, he immediately kind of flips it back onto the person he doesn't want to talk about. He kind of avoids it at all cost. And I think it's kind of helped him. Same with his wife. But then Tim, his wife is all over the social media, his kids all over the social media, barefaced, no covering, no nothing. So they pick and choose. Generally, I think Rogan has kind of handled his fame well in terms of like not being as much of for instance, like Rogan is 1 million times more famous and well known than Brendan, but Brendan somehow is still a bigger dickhead than Rogan. How is that possible? And then you think to yourself, hold on, if Brendan had Rogan's fame and money, how unbearable would he be? This small little Z-list level of celebrity and fame he has, that's largely built off the back of Rogan and Brian Callen. Look how unbearable he is now. Imagine how unbearable he'd be with Rogan's money. So it's interesting to me the things that they pick and choose. Brendan being a good example of what they choose to kind of copy from Rogan. They pick and choose what? Some things. Some things not something they do. But the kids things is wild. It's like, why are your kids even that much of a topic of your conversation or your subject matter in pod. We know what the reason is, by the way. I was kind of thought about my head because there's nothing to talk about. That might be the reason, you know. It's not even the fact that he's actually proud of his kids and he wants to kind of show off about his kids, and because, you know, some parents do that, or people in general be like, oh, I'm never going to be the guy that's going to be like talking about my kids all the time. But then you have the kid, you love the kid, you're proud of the kid, you can't help but speak about them. You know, it is what it is. You love the kid. But I don't even think Brendan says it because he's like proud of his kids. Maybe it's just he generally has nothing else to talk about. Well, that's why maybe his TFATK is dying a slow death. Like, think about it. Remove Brendan talking about Tiger Schaub and his little league potentially trying to push him to the MLB career thing. That's a big part of the show, you know. Think about it. Remove that and remove maybe dick jokes, and they might have a 30-minute show, maybe less. Tell them they can't talk about dicks, and tell them they can't talk about dicks anymore, and they're not allowed to mention their kids, and they might not have a show. That's probably why he talks about it so much, because there's nothing else to talk about.
And I don't like it, and I've said this, you know, since T started playing baseball. I don't look at me next to those two guys. I look like fucking Ronnie Coleman. Jesus Christ. So I don't. I'm jacked right now, dude.
Let's brag about it, by the way. Let's brag. That's the only thing he saw. He looked at that clip and he saw, oh, I like the look of myself walking, actually. I like what I look like side profile. That's the only thing he noticed. You see how selfish this guy is? Even in a clip that makes him look bad, that probably embarrasses his own kid, you know, that he probably owes the umpire an apology for. Because the thing, Brendan doesn't have fans anymore, right? If Brendan had actual fans, they would have probably doxed that umpire and probably sent death threats to him and shit, or just made his life a living hell for the last week or so, and he'd be laughing about it. But no one really cares that much, so you got people like me talking about it. But if he actually had friends, if he actually had fans, that umpire's life could be hell right now. Doesn't care. Not worried about the umpire, not worried about his team, not worried about his kid's team, not worried about his kid, not worried about the teammates, the other parents, how they look. Oh, let's just talk about how let's just talk about how great I look walking in that video.
Dude, I don't care if T strikes out, if he walks kids, hits kids, effort, as long as effort's there, we're good. I don't need him being fucking Ohtani at 9. This is a long journey.
If you don't need him to be Ohtani at 9, why are you walking down umpires at 9 during Little League?
Powerful bunch.
Huh?
The #1 Little League podcast in North America.
He probably should do that, actually. He probably should do that, given how much he talks about it. Maybe we'll get that soon. Maybe that's what they're going to do in Texas. Maybe there's going to be like a baseball segment of the show, or he's going to have an offshoot, you know, thick boy baseball. Maybe that's actually a thing coming up, and he's going to get his kid to model it. You ain't seen. If you think this MMA show is brutal, imagine baseball talk with Brendan.
It's all good as long as effort and his attitude is good. And I tell him,
honestly, I think that Ohtani contract. That's a Japanese guy, right? That guy, he still speaks no English. That's fascinating to you, by the way. He speaks still no English, right? But that Ohtani contract that he got might be as destructive as that Rogan contract with Spotify, the first one. I think that Rogan contract that he got, the first one with Spotify, is the reason why we got these people. I saw some clips the other day of people the people that do those fake ads. No, sorry, the people that do those fake pods. We've seen those before, right? On TikTok mostly, on IG Reels, where it looks like they're on a podcast and they're making some profound point, but it's not actually a podcast. It's just them recording a video of themselves talking like they're on a podcast that they didn't put out, hopefully to go viral. I think that Rogan deal with Spotify caused that. It's a very weird conspiracy theory, but I think everybody's seeing just how much money actual podcasters make when that Rogan deal happened, kind of got people all fucking dizzy, thinking they could also get Rogan money, when not really realizing that Rogan's been in this for fucking, what, 20 plus years and shit. Literally was one of the first people to make a podcast, you know, a popular one. So that's really the main reason why he's got it, because he's kept consistent over the years and shit. As opposed to everyone could do it. Not everyone could do that. Same with the Otani thing. Everybody saw that kid get that contract and thought, yeah, everybody's making it. So no. Some people make great money, I'm sure. But for some reason, that Otani kid's contract has turned Brendan into this person now. Kind of wild, isn't it? Kind of fucking wild. I wonder how many times that Otani guy's name is mentioned in the Schaub household.
The difference between the people that go on to play in high school and are outliers in college and the lucky ones that get to the pros through a lot of work, it's athletic ability he has. Check. We got that. He was born with that. You didn't earn that. You were born with that. Check.
Hold on. Is he dissing his kid? Is he dissing his kid? Is he diminishing, playing down what his kid has done to play the way he has, to get the level he's on at the moment? Is that a sneak diss to your own child? You're that desperate to make yourself look good, you're willing to throw your kid under the bus. This guy, bro.
Check. You're going to be an outlier athletically and size-wise. You did nothing to earn that. The difference is between...
If he talks like this to us, if he talks like this in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, can you imagine the kind of things he says to Tiger in the car when they're alone after they lost the game? God bless that kid, man. God bless that child. Can you imagine the looks, the things he says, the little subtle microaggressions he must give to fucking Tiger if this is the way he talks about his son or about baseball in general, kid sports like this? Damn.
Between the ears, the best guys I know are so mentally strong here, especially in baseball.
He's definitely told his kid this, by the way. This is a dad rant. This is a toxic dad rant. You could definitely see him doing this whole focus thing, closing his eyes while he's talking to his kid through the rearview mirror. You're not sitting in the front today. You know that he does that. I bet he's one of those type of dads too. You're not sitting in the front. Sit in the back. Yeah? Sit in the back, you lost. And he's talking to me. It's for the rearview mirror. Not putting the radio on. No radio. No iPod. No iPad. Fucking hell.
Between the ears, the best baseball players are the smartest guys on the field. They're the ones that can control their emotions. They make mistakes. They live to fight another day. They forget about it and move on. That's my sole factor of why I'm around.
Hold on. Wasn't Brendan known as a person that couldn't go over his mistakes? Didn't he do that show with Eric Griffin once where he was like, and Eric Griffin, big up Eric Griffin, right? Because, you know, I think he's a bit of a wally, but Eric Griffin might have got some of the best content we've seen at Brendan when Eric Griffin was doing that show with Brendan. That flashback thing. It's like a fight flashback thing show he was doing. It's short-lived, where he'd go over his fights and like look back at them, obviously, and see what he did right or wrong. I don't know what the reason was behind it, but he did one with Eric Griffin. And I remember Eric Griffin saying something like, oh, when you lost, did you ever like do this or do that? Like look over your tape to kind of get better at certain things. And he said with his bold face, like, no, I never look at tape. Like he's so thin-skinned, so fragile, he couldn't even look over tape. He couldn't analyze his fights. He couldn't watch them again. He relied on his team. Even when he won, he relied on his team to give him a game plan that he went and did, obviously, or whatever, but he would never look at stuff himself. It's like, huh? Now, I don't know if he's lying or not, but just imagine someone like him telling you to move on and get on when he can't even look at a fight and address that to kind of learn what he should do next, or to swallow, you know, however hard that is to look at yourself when you get knocked out must be super difficult. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but someone that couldn't do that, chastising his son for not letting go of a loss, or for not moving on, or for being surly and grumpy about it the whole day is funny as fuck.
around Tiger, and it's my job as a dad. That's all I care about. So when his mental game is in the dumps and he has an attitude, then I get upset.
Aptitude. He has an aptitude for being down the dumps, or you mean attitude? Aptitude. So he's trying to act like being upset about, so he's trying to make it seem like being upset about your kid's mental health is way more commendable than being upset about your kid's performance in the sport itself. Not the mental side of things, the actual practicing, the actual doing of the sport. That's toxic. But if you're concerned about your kid's mental health, then you're not toxic. Right.
Now Papa Bear comes out. Now we have an issue. It's strikes and home runs and fucking stealing. But I don't give a fuck, dude. This is about the journey. I don't care about any of that.
How are you saying that when you walk down an umpire? Someone make sense of that. How could you say you don't care and do your fucking, little Heil Hitler wave when you walk down an umpire, bro? How does that make any sense? You obviously do care. This is equivalent to like, I don't read comments, but then addressing comments on the pod for like half an hour, When he starts pouting or he gets an attitude, dude, or he's arguing with the umps, not that he argues, but he'll be like, that's a strike. I'm like, buddy, it doesn't matter. Wasn't he bragging? Wasn't he kind of bragging a little bit and kind of weirdly happy and proud that his kid was grumpy when they lost? Don't you guys remember that recently? Where he's kind of insinuated that he's kind of happy that he's a problem. He holds on to things, man. He doesn't let things go. He's always like, weren't you just recently saying that was a good thing? Insinuating it was a good thing. Now all of a sudden you're saying it's a bad thing.
But he's 9, dude. He's not going to be fucking Kobe Bryant mama mentality at 9, So you got to give him a break. But yeah, that.
Again, mentioning all of the top 1% or whatever, the 0.0% of their sport is funny because Brendan was never that guy himself. So you'd think he'd have a little bit more of a discernment to not maybe throw those kind of names out there when it comes to his kid. Otani, LeBron, this. But then you think to yourself, no, that makes sense with Brendan. Because he's the same guy, whenever he was getting hate during the peak of his comedy career, he'd be like, oh yeah, Drake and LeBron James get hate too. Be like, huh? What? And he would say like, oh, like even they get hate. And they're perfect. Look at them. Hold on, so you're just trying to like make sense of like some of the valid criticism and constructive criticism or whatever insults that you get thrown out your way because of the things that you say and do as okay, and just a sign that people are jealous or hating you because some people troll and say mean things about LeBron James and Drake. So he's always done this kind of weird comparison thing. Like now you're talking about like Kobe and your son. What? Okay.
That's when I'm like, ooh, dude. But yeah, if your dad's a little league coach and you get thrown out, he didn't give a fuck about you.
Again, funny, isn't it? So victim, and now all of a sudden you're the bully. This is what you should have led him, by the way. Because this is how he really feels. Just leave this in the beginning. Forget all that fluff and all that trying to explain it and sound reasonable. Just leave this in the beginning. I've seen all the things people are saying online. I saw the post. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. I will raise my kid where I want to raise my kid. I will do what I want to do. I'll do what I think sees best. I'll do what I see is fit in terms of helping my kid to become a professional baseball player. If you don't like it, suck my dick. You should just said that. Just leave him to suck my dick. All this fluff, all this trying to pretend like he's a good guy, reasonable. Just say suck my dick. That's what you really wanted to say.
It is what it is, and it's one of the umps always tells me, dude, you're my favorite because you never say anything. I'm like,
of course, we've got the classic he was a fan. Remember back in the day when he was doing comedy, every time he went somewhere, some fan bumped into him, some person, some big whatever. They're always fans. He's getting recognized everywhere. And now he's saying all the umpires, the umpire association, the umpire syndicate, the umpire group, the umpire collective, right? The consortium of umpires, they all love him. Every single one. Oh yeah, they come over to him. That's what umpires do, by the way, right? They pick out a parent who's not talking too much and say, yeah, you're a real good person. The same umpires that are intimidated by Brendan, by the way, right? Yeah? The same umpires that are intimidated by his size and his stature and his strength, right? 300,000 bench presses. They're the same ones who are congratulating him for not shouting. Okay.
Get wrecked. It's all good. You guys are trying your best. Barely get paid. I'm a volunteer coach. You know,
flexing on them. Imagine flexing on volunteer fucking umpires. Barely get paid. Fat. Don't have a nice car. Don't have a hot wife. Like, this guy is so toxic. He's such a piece of shit. But that's the thing that's fascinating about Brendan. He's such a piece of shit, but he generally doesn't think he is. Like, he wants you to think he's a good guy. And it's like, what's the point, though? Especially with Brendan, you've got this far. You've achieved quite a lot, despite being very mediocre, you know, right? In every field, in everything he's done. Very, very mediocre, at best. Maybe the best thing he probably does is podcasting, maybe. But mediocre across the board. He's gotten quite a lot out of life. You think someone like him would be like grateful, like, what? I pulled it off, mate, like. Because he knows he's not his dad, right? He knows he's not his dad. His dad allegedly made some software that made him millions and shit. He knows he pales in comparison to his dad, who also served in the fucking army, right? He fucking served his country and he set up this company that's probably funding Brendan's life to this day. So he knows he's not a shadow of his dad. He's achieved quite a lot given his limited athletic abilities and shit and compromised brain and shit. You think something like that would be a little bit more like, oh, chuffed, you know? Look what I've done. Instead, he thinks even more highly of himself. Because of what he achieved. It's like, it's given this weird sense of self, like, it's given it this weird unearned ego, you know? It's like, huh? You think you're super smart and amazing because you have a podcast? Oh, okay.
You know, I get it. You're trying your best. But the playoffs and all game, dude, fucking the boys over. Like, buddy, we've won 7 in a row. Come on now. Come on, bud. So hopefully the kids rally and play good on Wednesday. Yeah, and I think Tiger's attitude, so maybe my emotion is a little high, you know, so that's on me. I take count.
Again, that's not a right thing to do. If your kid does have a stinky attitude and holds on to things, you shouldn't be them reacting the way you should be in the opposite, because you want to show them a good example. You want to set a good example with your kids. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, my kids got so you take your frustrations of what your kid's doing onto the field to then what? Show other kids that what? Like, huh? That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Accountability with that, you know, but I never, you know, I didn't degrade the guy or anything like that. Saying him a play's garbage, not personal, dude. Jesus Christ.
Walking somebody down is kind of personal. Walking somebody down is the antithesis of personal. Yo, big up. Actually, comments in the chat. Wow, go on. What's that, Cody Rodriguez? We're saying yes. We just appreciate that. Not to weigh ourselves with silly comparison. Just acknowledge the garbage for garbage and react. It's like, I think I just expect too much. I expect too much. Just you just gotta let Redux be Redux in it.
But yeah, he had the power in that game, you know. Just part of the game. Part of the game.
Shall we watch?
Nah, you don't need to.
All right, up to you.
People can see it.
Oh, you see that? You see that, by the way? Doesn't want to watch it, does he? Because he knows it doesn't look good. It's one thing to say what you want to say about it, to retcon it, to pigmatize about it, right? To speak about it in his Schaub'S, but he doesn't want to play it back. I wonder why he doesn't want to play it back on camera. Why do you want to play it back while you're speaking, bruh? Why don't you want to play it back? Because it looks bad. That's it. It just looks bad. It doesn't look crazy. You shouldn't go to prison for it. Nobody's gonna fucking, you know, whatever. It's not that deep. but it definitely doesn't look the way that he tried to paint it out to be. You know, he did he even apologize for what he did in general, just in the terms of just being a, you know, and also not just being a sore loser too. Just apologize for just to set a good example for your kids. It's a tight match. Maybe it got a little bit, you know, tempers got flared, things got said, but after the game you shake hands. This is after the game. This is his after the game. This is after the game shake. We didn't see what happened after the game. By the way, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? Papa didn't go up to the umpire and apologize in person or shake his hand. How much do you want to bet Papa made Tiger go straight away? Tiger, come here. Tiger, get in the car. Jump in the Hummer. How much do you want to bet Brendan did that? Exactly.
It's on my Instagram. Only reason I post is take the power away. I would never post any of this. The only reason I do it is once it makes news and it starts getting out there and trending shit, then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna let you run with the story. Here's what's going.
No. You should have let people run with the story because there's no explaining this. There's no way you can watch that and it makes him look good. All it is a walking down bit. If he just would have said something and said his little cuss or whatever, or got his little, you know, got his frustration out there, it's fine. Walking down the umpire was crazy because he came into camera. That's what made it look worse. If you just saw him in the corner of the screen flailing his arms in the air like he's fucking what's his face, Yuri, no problem. But you walk down the umpire, bro. That's excessive. Especially given that it was a close call anyway. It wasn't even like you did it off the back of the guy being aggressive to your kid or whatever. It's just like a close call. Nobody else was that annoyed by it apart from you. Yes, I get it because it's your kid, but Jesus Christ, bro. Little League. It's Little League.
Going on. This ump threw out 3 other managers before this. This is his 3rd game he's umping. He threw out 3 others. Those that aren't involved with sports, that's unheard of. Clearly,
those that aren't involved in sports, you get that, ladies and gentlemen. You're reacting the way you're reacting because you're not involved in sports. You don't get it. Common decency and manners doesn't exist in sports. Sportsmanship isn't a thing. That's not a thing. The term sportsmanship doesn't exist. There's no such thing if you're involved in sports. This is normal. We should be encouraging this type of behavior. We shouldn't be setting a good example for the kids. Fuck them kids. Yeah, Michael Jordan, fuck them kids.
the guy has an issue. Clearly, it's a him problem, not me. I'll take accountability.
Yeah, it's a him problem, not me. Oh, this guy is brilliantly displaying all of his worst attributes in the worst way possible. God, he's the gift that keeps on giving it. Just when you thought Bappaverse was boring. Maybe that's why I've been missing some streams here and there. Because it's just, there's nothing really to eke out of this. Like, even the other day, I noticed actually, big up my guy, Podcast Cringe. Love him to bits. But I saw Podcast Cringe has a new channel. This Podcast Bites thing, right? I'm like, are you double dipping on the fucking AdSense? Is it a cheeky double dip? Because what is there really to talk about? It's all kind of boring. It's all kind of samey, you know? There's nothing really going on. Like, all these guys are kind of tired. They kind of, you know, and they're still, you know, but then you realize stuff like this happens and then you get more material, you know? Just when you think there's nothing to talk about, this guy does and says something stupid and then tries to gaslight you into believing that you're the one that's stupid. You're the one that's going over the top. But clearly there's a need for those other channels. Clearly there's a need for these new channels popping up because these motherfuckers don't learn from their mistakes. True locals.
I said the call was garbage and I'm enormous. So he's like, Jesus Christ, you're out of here. I'm like, all right, dude. Now, did I want to pull Happy Gilmore? I'm like, and I'll see you in the parking lot. Of course I did, dude. But no one gets anywhere with that.
Let's laugh and joke about what I did that was wrong, but then let's admonish the umpire. He's in the wrong, but I'm going to laugh and joke. I'm going to make light of what I did, but he's in the wrong. Cool.
You know, I would never. That's what they expect I'm going to do. I just go, okay. I went up and set up in the boxes and watched the game. Okay. All right, dude. That's what you want to do. Come on, boys. You know, within
Hold on. Why is he trying to act like he should be given a pat on the back for not knocking the guy out? Huh? Huh? Why is he trying to act like he deserves credit for not beating up the umpire? What? They expect me to double leg him. They expect me to fucking get him in a Kimura. Right? Like, what? They expect me to get him in the guillotine like Chin and fucking permanently damage his neck. Huh? I didn't do it. You should be happy. Okay.
he doesn't have his dad, and you know he thinks it's his fault, and so his attitude, you know, so it's not good.
What? Hold on. What about you? What? What you say there?
All right, dude. That's what you want to do. Come on, boys. You know, but then T doesn't have his dad, and you know he thinks.
Okay. Did he just speak about mental health, mental thing being the most important? Now all of a sudden, T game falls apart, crumbles the moment his dad gets sent to the bleachers or to the stands. Huh? Mental health is important. So you've not taught your kid to play. You can only play well when you're on the sidelines berating the umpire. Huh?
Thinks it's his fault, and so his attitude, you know, so it's not good.
So the umpire took you away from your child. That's why child didn't do well. Okay.
It's not good. You know, yeah, I'm probably high strung right now, dealing with the move and Cal not showing up this week, you know.
Of course. We joked about this. People in the stream chat joked about this. But he's actually blaming the team. He's actually blaming the team. We joked about this, but he's actually blaming the team.
Powerful bunch.
I need a Rogan breakdown of this. What the ump doesn't understand is that he's on the field with a lion. Schaub is a superior athlete. He'll do whatever he wants out there. There's a pecking order in nature.
This big up Assad. This is equivalent to like Jordan Peterson talking about gropers as if they're like a terrorist group or something. You know? This is equivalent to fucking Jordan Peterson thinking, you know, Gecko, whatever, you know, that Pepe the Frog is Hezbollah. This is the fucking equivalent of this. This is fucking crazy. This guy is nuts.
I'm a kid, you know, and building the studio and shipping 1 million fucking cars out to Texas, and
too rich, too successful, running everything. The leader needed integral part of having everything moved. Integral part of. By the way. How much do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet this motherfucker hasn't lifted a single box? Hasn't packed a single thing and moved to the next studio? How much should I bet? He has not lifted a single finger, and here he is talking about the move being so stressful.
Living at Airbnb, you know, and I got the Airbnb because we're supposed to leave, but Tigers team's in the playoffs, so if they go to the championship, I gotta stay longer. You know, I'm living out a fucking Airbnb.
So Tigers team being good is the reason why he's where he's at. They're just too good. If they weren't as good, he would need to be living out of a suitcase.
You know, you think that's cool, man? And this Ump's like, yeah, fuck it. You're out of here. I'm, okay, dude. In the heart of the team. Oh.
And I'll see you.
I'm the heart of the team. I'm the heart of the team, he says. With a straight face too, but he's not joking. Yeah, I know he laughed after this, but he's not joking. He actually does think he's the heart of the team. I'm the heart of the team. Okay. By the way, even if you are the heart of the team, you don't say this. Even if you know you're the most popular dad on the team, you don't say this. Even if you know your kid is the best player on the team, you don't say, especially not this on your platform like this. You don't say that. You don't say that, bro. You have some humility. You're a bit, you defer to others. You go out of your way to big up other players. When people are talking about your son, you talk well about the other teammates who are contributing to your son playing well. You don't just stand there and like lap up all the praise. And actually reinforce it, emphasize it, even repeat it on your platform. Imagine getting some sort of satisfaction and bragging about being the leader of like what, a little league team. Okay, I would hope you are, bro. Being the former athlete, I'd hope you are the main person there. I'd hope you are maybe the most important, the heart of the team. I'd hope you are. It'd be pretty embarrassing if like some guy who works in IT is maybe seen as more of the heart of the team than you. When you have your sports background, you should be. Maybe not, but you should be. And he is bragging about it.
And I'll see you in the parking lot. Powerful bunch. Beg to differ.
When Adam Sandler saw Bappa, he said, "You're that baseball dad. That's the heart of the team, right?"
Exactly. The baseball heart of the team is fucking hilarious.
Happy hit that. Not what.
No more than 2 hours.
No more than 2 hours ago. Oh my God. He's all. Yeah.
How old was the aunt, by the way? Do you know, like roughly?
30s.
Does that matter really, Chin? Honestly, is Chin not the most redacted person in the fucking place ever? Now we've done more vlogs. Is Chin not the most redacted person that we've ever seen? With the exception of Brendan. I think he's even more redacted than Brendan. I'm going to give Brendan the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him some grace. I think Chin is more redacted than Brendan. Why would his age be of any concern? Like what? How old is he? What color was his hair? You know what shoe size he was? Did he look athletic? Like what? How old he was? Huh? That's what you got out of this story. That's what you got out of this fucking story. That was your conclusion, huh? That was your conclusion. How old is he?
Oh, 30s?
Oh yeah, not a kid. 30s. Dungeons and Dragons vibe in the base.
There we go. That's what you need to say, right? Reddit. Look. He's looking at us, bro. He's looking straight at us. He's looking straight at us. Dungeons and Dragons. He's looking straight at us. He's a troll. The umpire was a man. He wanted to say so, but he doesn't want to give them another like. He doesn't want to give them fucking attention. But he wants to. He says so badly that it's the Redditors' fault, and it's the TFATK subreddit. It's the homeless cats. It's the trolls. There's homeless person, right? These trolls, these commentators. Look, he's looking right at us. You can't really tell because he's a bit cross-eyed, but he's looking right at us. Dungeons and Dragons. Honestly, he has such a 90s era high school movies view of life, innit? Like he sees life as like the dorks v the jocks, innit? Like he's definitely in that kind of mind, innit? Dorks v the jocks, He was the cool kid in school with the varsity jacket that got the girl, that flushed the nerd's head down the toilet, like. That's how he looks at the world, innit? You play games, you don't count as a human. You like to play video games, you don't count. Not a real man. Okay. You showed you're a real man, by the way. You got sunned by a guy that plays Dungeons and Dragons. You didn't hit him. You didn't beat him up. You didn't take him out. Some Dungeons and Dragons guy, allegedly, ejected you from the game. How embarrassing is that then?
You know, it is what it is. But you'll see these umps who are, most of them are super cool. My favorite ump's this older ump. He's been like,
Yeah, big up Booth McGee. Are we going to keep ignoring face? Papa's got a beak on him. Yeah, I think it's a weight loss, isn't it? I think that happens a lot with rapid weight loss. But also maybe he's just getting older. I think they said that already, right? They say like when you get older, your nose grows bigger and shit. So maybe it's just age. Maybe it's rapid weight loss. But yeah, he's got a beak on him. He's got a proper schnozzle on him. That is a nose. You know what I mean? A nose.
35 years. Him and his son, they do it together. They're great. Most of them are awesome. Love the game of baseball. They help tee out, in the middle of the game. Like, man, if you
There we have it. Wasn't he complaining earlier on about the umpire allegedly, according to him, was involved in some conspiracy or giving the other team, the other team's parents preferential treatment, because he was pally and jokey with them. But here he is saying, basically, the umpire wasn't nice to T, wasn't nice to Tiger. He wasn't talking to him, he wasn't coaching him through the game. He wasn't encouraging him, he wasn't motivating him. That's why he was a bad umpire. So if that umpire would have spoken to T well, but then still ejected Brendan, would Brendan say he's a good guy or not? Indeed.
if you step like this and they help him, it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, most of them are. This guy's like the only problem. He's had so many complaints against him. You think I'm going to file a complaint? No, all right. Okay.
Big up Black American. Maybe he's pregnant. Big up Big E. Needles and big face nose. That's fucking hilarious.
Okay. I would never. Yeah, I was more embarrassed than it.
You would never file a complaint, but you're going to spend 15 minutes talking about it in your show.
Anything like, oh God, the fuck we doing, man? But yeah, the thing that bothers me most is some shitty person that sent that to the outlets.
It doesn't bother you that you made your kid look embarrassed, or you embarrassed your kid, you embarrassed yourself. It doesn't. That doesn't. The most shittiest thing is the fact that video footage got out. Yeah, because that insinuates that the person hacked into something for nefarious reasons. Oh, bloody blah blah blah. True. By the way, I think that's also unfortunately gonna stop us seeing anything further. Maybe if they can go back in the archives and find old clips. But I think that clip now, although it's fed us and it's made us happy, a lot of us in the Bappaverse who have now been, entertained thoroughly by seeing Brendan act the way he has and the reactions to it. I think now that he's aware of the cameras, he's definitely going to, curb his outbursts and shit. He's definitely going to see less of that.
How that's even a story, I don't know. Strickland couldn't have said something wild and taken the fucking forefront there, I was trying to take some shots.
Strickland. So again, you're complaining about it, but then you want more attention brought on.
Powerful bunch.
I don't know. But Mr. O,
if he was really the heart of the team, he would be giving advice on how to really coach players and deal with different personalities, no substance.
Heart of the team, yeah? Heart of the team. Usually people at the heart of the team, they also take that role seriously. They are embarrassed when things like this happens. They are ashamed. They think it undoes all their work. It maybe hampers their ability to talk to the kids a certain way, to influence them, to set whatever. They really hard on themselves, those type of things. But here's Brendan. No big deal. No big deal. Yeah, walking out umpires. No big deal. Cool.
Trying away from Theo choking people in bars.
There it is.
I'm actually helping my friend out.
Yep.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Good friend. Hashtag good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag good friend. Yeah, but so they play Wednesday. And and baseball dads know this. I didn't even say anything to T after the game. I showed him in the car. I'm like, what do you want to do? You hungry? He's like, yep. And I think.
Why is that a good thing? Why is that a good thing? So you acted like that was perfectly normal. You got ejected from a game and you acted like that was perfectly okay. Especially the way that you did it and the circumstances around it. it's gonna be a miracle that kid ends up being like chill and cool, in it, no? Because Brendan's really got he's really set his fucking big mitts on him, innit? It's gonna be a miracle if Tiger ends up not being like Brendan. It's gonna be a miracle. Because this is the type of example you're setting him. This is the type of things that you're kind of, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it, man. You didn't even say sorry to your son. If you embarrass him, just use the word if. Sorry if I made you look bad out there, son. I'll just try and support. Just even that. You didn't say nothing. Just act like it didn't happen. Good reinforcement there.
I think he was right for me to him, like, because they're not going to learn anything. Like, when that's going on, they're not going to soak it in. Then later that night,
okay, it's okay. That's fair. Maybe not in the moment, but after the game, you don't think it's right to speak about it or to apologize or to explain why you did what you did, even, and why maybe he shouldn't do it as himself. Even if you don't think you're sorry, let's say he doesn't think he has anything to apologize for. Let's say Brendan honestly doesn't think he has anything to apologize for. He thinks what he did was justified. Cool. Then just explain why maybe he shouldn't do that. Why maybe other people wouldn't look at it too favorably. Why maybe as an athlete you shouldn't get your emotions get the better of you like that in a game. Maybe.
buddy, why do you think I got thrown out and I can't go to your next game? See, that's it. See, I get suspended for the next game. I'm suspended for Wednesday's game now.
Whoa.
And
what do you mean, whoa? So? Whoa. As if he's playing. Whoa. As if he's the main whoa, you know. Maybe you should have thought about that before you did what you did. Maybe this also, let's talk about this. Maybe you getting suspended for the Wednesday game is a reason why you should apologize to your kid. If you're that much of a heart of the, imagine, let's take him at his word. Let's pretend he is the heart of the team. Let's pretend he is important. He plays a very important role in his kids' development in sports. It's all on Brendan. If Brendan steps away for one moment, if Brendan lets up on Tiger Schaub for one moment, he's not going to get to where he needs to get to. Let's imagine all that is true. Then why would you be so reckless and so emotional in that instance to throw all of that shit away or put all that in jeopardy? It's almost as if you're full of shit.
Was trying to get me suspended for the rest of the playoffs.
I understand. Walking somebody down, big up Jorge Masvidal, is an act of aggression. You don't just let someone walk down on you, especially not an MMA fighter. You don't, you know what I mean? That means that spells trouble. If an MMA fighter can get that, because it's different for a regular person. If you're a trained fighter, you have an ability to, you know, you don't react like this. You shouldn't. That's why people get crazy or people are shocked when they see Mike Perry fighting randoms on the street, because most of the time it doesn't happen. Most of the time trained fighters know they're trained fighters, and because they know how to defend themselves, they don't overcompensate. You don't react like that, you know? You shouldn't go, wow. But here's Brendan, shocked that a regular dude, Dungeons and Dragons dude, was trying to get suspended for the whole season. Or duh.
That's what I'm dealing with, but it's not happening. I think I can go to the game. I just can't coach.
So you can be in the stands.
I can be in the stands, I think. If not, I'll be in a disguise. You think I'm missing that game?
Does he think the show's not recorded? Do you think you don't record the show? You're just announcing this. Does he have that small of a brain? He has to know it's not big of a deal. You know, it's not going to be that serious, but surely you don't announce your plans like this before you actually do them. You want it to be a surprise. Or you want to get away with it. Sure you don't do what he did. Oh, this fucking guy, man.
You think I'm missing that game? I'll be in a full disguise. They're going to be like, dude, it's clearly you. Get the fuck out of here. I'm all, no, it's not. Who? I don't know. I'm just here to watch some good ball, man.
Yeah, nice Heil Hitler stash there, right? You know exactly what stash you wanted, right? We know exactly what stash you're going to do, right? We know exactly what stash you're going to do.
9 you? Yeah, dude. I love baseball. I'm here for the snack shack. There's a game? Yeah, so I can't coach the next game.
It's gonna be a little tough for you to just be in there where no one notices. But I mean, yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
I think I want to unalive myself. I'm not gonna lie. If I was this dumb, I think I'd unalive myself. Not even considering the looks. The looks thing would also make me want to do drastic shit. But I think if I was this dumb at that age, like, because he has like a very niche, specific set of skills and knowledge. It's in one area only, and even that is debatable. But if I was this dumb at that age, I would end it all.
We'll see how it goes.
Anyway, that's it. That's a segment. That's a segment. I spent way too long talking about it, to be fair. Way too long. But yeah, crazy, isn't it? Crazy. In the end, it's not that deep. But Brendan, as always, has made it deeper by highlighting it for as long as he does. And obviously, I've made it worse by talking about this for way long. But hey, it is what it is. It's a live stream. We're talking shit. But this all could have been summed up with, yeah, that video was annoying. I'm not sure why it got out there. I'm not sure why it's news, slow news there, I guess. But I want to start off with saying I apologize for how I look. I apologize to the team. What everybody knew now, that's not something that I want to encourage. That's kind of behavior I want to see. I apologize. Right? That's what you should have said. And just moved on. Or a real boss move, just don't address it. He's actually making it worse by trying to act like it's like the fucking whatever effect, right? By trying to act like it's no big deal, by trying to explain away, by trying to gaslight you or manipulate you into thinking what you saw wasn't what you saw, or the conclusion that you came to you should question. Just ignore it. Pretend it didn't happen. Carry on with your life. But now you can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do it. Has to keep at it, and here we are.